Hey, welcome to Friends with Davey. It's me, your boy, Davey Jackson, here in studio with producer Joshua Kabaza. Hello, producer Josh. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing good.
This is an exciting episode, dude, because we have as our special guest today, the one and only Justin Governale. Yeah, there he is.
My eyes are up here.
And Stephanie Cavinder. How are you today?
Hi. Hello.
I'm so happy you're here. You know what's interesting is I asked you to do a podcast, I don't know, like maybe 2 months ago. And you said, no, not doing that. But then Justin asked you if you'd like to do a podcast. And it was like, oh, for sure. Yeah, I'd love to.
We're recently new couple. So.
Oh, y'all are together now?
Yeah.
In my defense,
That's really
the last
exciting.
time we hung out, you put a ski mask on my face.
Okay, that's not true. I did not put a ski mask on her face.
That sounds like your MO.
It was a double bagger. One for you, one for me. Let's both not have to endure this visual.
Thanks.
Justin.
Wow. This is how I find out that you guys, I'm breaking up with you. You know what? We're no longer a couple.
We're done. We're officially done.
Man.
Justin is fresh off his episode debut for Naked and Afraid. Dude, how does that feel?
Yeah, it was cool, man.
That was really anticlimactic. Yeah,
No,
it's
no,
cool,
it's
man.
cool, man. It's cool, man. No, you know, like I'm just getting all these DMs and like speaking engagements, bro. You know, man, you know.
It's not a big deal.
Like, I guess I made time for this podcast, brother. You know. No, dude, it's crazy, man. Like, I found out that you can only get 99 story reshares, a notification on IG, because I had over that. So it'll just tell you 99 story reshares, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, dope, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, I just freaking DMs like, and I went to the watch party. You guys went, right?
Through a big watch party,
Through a
yeah.
watch party?
There were a ton of people there. The venue that we did it at, more of my friends were showing up, and they were like, we had to go home. There was no parking.
Yeah, it was dope, man.
That's
It was
how many
dope.
people came out for your
definitely
debut.
parked in a spot that was not a parking spot, but you know, I have a big truck, so I can do that.
Yeah, you were just on a tree, basically.
Actually parked right
I'd
behind her.
never seen a curb in my life.
There you go. See?
Ah, man, I want to make a female driving joke, but I'm not going to do it. But I'm not going to do it, you know?
I just
No,
did.
because he's respectful of women.
I was
now.
going to say that no female see curbs ever, but
Exactly.
I'm not going to do that because that's, you know.
Or drivers in other lanes, for that matter.
Yeah. But,
Good luck, everybody else.
yeah, it was dope, dude. A bunch of people hit me up. And what was interesting is like people I haven't talked to since like, I don't know, like high school.
They were coming out of the woodwork.
They're calling me a ton. They're like, "Hey, what's up, brother? It's Jacob." And I'm like,
I don't know if you
I know,
remember me,
yeah,
but
I know,
we
I
were best
remember you.
friends.
I remember you. I do. Like, we used to copy off each other or whatever. But
Did you have to shoo a couple people away?
I think I just stopped responding, right? And by no, I'm a straight D-list celebrity right now, right? Like intentionally with a D, right? But I'm saying like,
Lowercase or uppercase?
well, I'm 5'5", dog, so it's a lowercase, unfortunately, right?
Or it
but
could
I
be-
drive a big truck. Actually, I
Hey,
don't.
short kings are in
it's
these
a thing, dude.
days.
They are.
They really
The short
are.
kings are taking over.
Yeah,
Was it 5'7" slice of heaven is like the new
Yeah.
thing
Haven't
going
heard that
around?
one. Wow.
5'5"
Okay.
between my thighs, you know. We're monetized still. That wasn't swearing. That wasn't
Oh, was
swearing.
it? It was just a very graphic visual.
Read between the lines.
That's it. That is it.
And the
So-
lines are 5 and 5.
So you, I mean, you did the episode. We watched the whole thing at the watch party.
Yeah.
And I mean, we can say now that you made it through the whole challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. It was dope, man. I feel like it was definitely super challenging. I will admit that. I mean, I lost 38 freaking pounds in 21 days.
That was
That's
wild.
That's a lot of
And
weight.
it didn't even really look like you lost that much weight, but I think it's because you're such a compact dude.
Yeah, dude. Man, let's stay monetized, dude.
Okay.
I made a tiny blur joke. I was running with that, right? Team Tiny Blur or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But dude, yeah, it was super, super mentally challenging. If I'm being honest, in terms of like my military training and stuff, mentally, I had to dig into like some of the deepest realms of what I've had to push my body through. But I didn't show it on purpose because I knew that it was going to be on television, right?
Yeah.
And so
You
I
put on
gave them-
game face.
Dude.
That's the thing. As I was watching this episode, I was like, how is he not breaking down?
Looks
Yeah.
completely unrattled
Oh, dude.
the
Yeah.
entire time.
Bro,
He's just like,
unfazed.
I got
So-
a fish.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I would want to talk about, these are real memories that are real things that push me in life, right? One of them I talked about my childhood. The other
Yep.
one was I have it tattooed right here, right? Equanimity.
Right.
And so the dude that taught me that, he was a Marine, he was a sniper, he was a right-handed shooter, right? Went to sniper school twice, failed both times as a right-handed shooter, right? Goes to Fallujah as not a sniper, but he was on a sniper team. Rocket attack, takes his right eyeball, takes it from him, right? Comes back, they tell him like, you're done. Dude, the guy is a beast, gets a glass eye, gets an eye patch, teaches himself to engage with his left side.
Wow.
Goes back to sniper school, freaking passes sniper school, gets honor grad, gets high shooter, right? I'm not going to say his name for protection purposes,
That's
right?
insane.
Bro, that guy was my hog. And so what he would do is he would just talk like this.
His hog.
He was my hog.
Lowercase d.
Yeah. Oh, man. I normally would make all these jokes, but I have so much respect for him that I can't. Anybody else? Dude, your hog, yes. Josh's hog, yes. My hog, Tiny Blur, yes. His, massive. Huge, dude. Huge. Like,
Insane.
Like all the way down to here.
Dude couldn't even wear sweatpants.
Anyway.
Crazy.
Especially not the gray one.
Absolutely not.
So, dude, he would thrash us, and one day he thrashed us for several hours, and he made us do a reverse tabletop position. And he said, we're not going to move until we do it for 30 minutes straight, but I don't want anybody to make a sound. You make a sound, we're starting over.
Thrashing, is that like where they're just
they're
making you exercise really hard or
they're
what?
training you. They're not hazing you because hazing is illegal, but they're training you, right? They're training your mind. And so this is before hazing was a thing in the Marine Corps. This is like 2005.
This is before hazing
2006.
was the actual word for it.
I got it. Okay.
But dude, pain retains, bro. It makes you hard, right? It makes you dig into a place and you have to start thinking of stuff.
Makes
right?
some harder than others.
Yeah.
That's what I
What were we talking about
experienced.
before this? Anyway, speaking of DMs. Anyway, so dude, he made us hold this reverse tabletop position, and he says, if you make a noise, I'm gonna start the time over. And like, dude, 10 minutes would pass, and there was like 15 of us, and someone would be like, and then he'd be like, stop, and he wouldn't get mad. He would be like, shake your arms out. Heinrich's
We're starting over.
And if Heinrich is listening right now, he'd be like, why me? But he'd be like, Heinrich wanted to make a noise. Shake him out. We're going to start over in 2 minutes.
You're going to get a DM right after.
Yeah.
Literally.
And so, dude, he literally kept us there. The whole process, he started us over and over and over because people would make noises or their butt would hit or whatever. And dude, he made us take our watches off so we can't look down. And so it was just like, it was just like a
mind game. Yeah.
It was a mind game, right?
Yeah.
And so what's crazy is he would say, what is equanimity? And equanimity is being in complete chaos and just having complete composure and control in like the most chaotic condition, right? And then he would say, like, hey, Smith, what's equanimity mean? What does it mean to you? And he talked real soft spoken, but you look at him and he's got an eye patch. And I've
like a pirate.
Dude, like my first deployment, we like picked up like bodies that these guys got, right? And he's like one of them, and he's just wearing an eye patch and he's got a sniper rifle. Like, dude, what a complete badass, right? And so I want to sit here and you want to be like, what do you know about equanimity? But he just has his arms crossed and he'd be like, hey, Governale, what does equanimity mean to you? And then he would say stuff like, why is it important? And he would say, if you're out on a team of 4 men and you're taking contact, you're taking fire, right? It's a very, like the minute that one guy breaks, the next guy might want to break, but he hears the other guy break and it's just a downward spiral, right? It's like domino effect. So, dude, our whole platoon was hard, bro. Like freaking uppercase D, dog.
Yeah.
Right?
The hardest.
And so, dude, I really kept that memory in with me, right? And there's actually one part that didn't come in on camera. I did sign an NDA, but they didn't get to throw anything in there, so I'm not really saying anything crazy. But at the end of the day, I had actually talked about that sergeant that he's like a gunny now, right? But I talked about him specifically and how I think about him so much in my life. Like one of my fights, I went out and I freaking broke my orbital? I broke my left orbital in an MMA fight, right? Last like 3 seconds of the fight, I was seeing double, and the guy was such a dick to me that I'm like, I'm not gonna like. I tried to shake his hand, and he was just still such a dick, dude. And he just broke. And I saw 2 of everything, and I wanted to be like, hey, doctor, do I have brain damage? But I had to just be like, I'm not gonna give him that satisfaction. So I stood there. They announced the winner. It was him. I'm closing one eye because when I would open both eyes, I saw 2, and I thought I had brain damage. And I went backstage, and the doctor's like, look at me, what's going on? And I'm like, Doc, I think I have brain damage. I see 2 of everything. And he touches my face and he's like, no, you just broke your orbital, right? And so I'm like, cool. And so
you have brain damage, but this specifically is just a broken orbital.
And so
a little bit. He is a Marine. So
and I was super sad. I was super sad after the fight.
Qualifiers.
Yeah, you have to have brain damage to be a Marine. Yeah, like you can't score above a certain
You can't be a
score.
normal person.
Yeah, absolutely not.
But yeah, I'm done. And he went to watch that fight, and I was so sad because like I just got beat up in front of my friends and family, and like I'm hanging my head. And they're all waiting for me. And the first dude I saw was him with his eye patch.
Oh, cool.
And everybody's like, how are you? I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not going to go eat. I need to go to the hospital. I broke my orbital. I shattered my orbital. And I look up and he goes, hey, you only need 1. And I started laughing, right? And so when I was out there, I talked about him and how like till this day, that memory, bro, that event was like freaking 4 hours, dude. And he would say stuff like, don't listen to your mind, real calm. He'd be like, you make a noise.
The thrashing you're
over.
talking about, when he thrashed y'all, it lasted 4
It was
hours.
like 4 hours. Yeah, that was normal. That was normal.
Like your mind
so-
gives out before your body.
Yeah.
does.
That's so true.
And
yeah.
so dude, he just had us like, I remember just shaking, and if one dude again was like, ugh, he'd go start over. So that's why it took 4 hours. He said,
Yeah.
we're gonna hold this position for 30 minutes, and your arms start going numb. And of course, you cheat when you can. The whole thing is like, you could cheat, but don't get caught, because if you get caught in real life, you die, right? So he turns his back, and you're like, shake, you're like, and then he turns around. So, but dude, it was like all day, right? And so he would say stuff like, don't listen to your mind. Don't listen to your arms. Listen to the birds. Listen to the wind hit your ear.
You know what? That's
canal.
kind of what it's like for me when I get a tattoo.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of excruciating pain. Not that it's anything,
Yeah, it's
you know,
pretty similar, dude.
similar
It's pretty similar, dude.
going through training in the Marine
If
Corps.
I'm talking about something completely unrelated to the fact that like somebody is purposely poking me with a needle,
Okay.
I don't feel it.
You're good,
Poking
right?
you with
Yeah.
a needle, like she was like, she's like, they're poking me with a needle. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I have a lot of
Maybe if it was
tattoos,
me or
man,
something.
Like, I got a lot of them. All right, I've been through it a couple of times.
She's been, and you were former military too, so you
Yeah,
went some of
yeah.
these. You went through some of these same experiences. You were Air Force, so
Yeah,
No, dude, there's some hard Air Force, dude.
yeah. So I was security forces, which is like the Air Force's version of infantry.
Okay.
Your version of grunts and so on. If they're going to throw any bodies at anything, they're throwing security forces first. One, because we have the most bodies and we're the lowest ASVAB scores. But you know what? It is what it is.
the lowest ASVAB score, Josh. That means the dumbest.
You only have to be a 32 to get waived into security forces in the Air Force.
Well, wait. I know you're smart. So how did you end up in security forces?
That's a long, tragic story.
Fair enough.
I was not security forces when I first went in. I actually volunteered.
She got
for it.
dumber.
Yeah, basically. It got offered to me to switch over my 7th week of basic training because I had like the marksman and stuff, and I was an honor grad, and they were like, "Hey, we are super low on here. You're a really good shooter. You're really good here." And I was like, "All right, yeah, that sounds great. We're gonna do that."
And then you wound up as a grunt.
I learned I was like a masochist basically for military.
Well, they got you.
training.
They tricked you. That was a trick.
Yeah,
They
they did. So when they put me through stuff like SEER training stuff, and they're like destroying you, putting bags over your head and kidnapping you, I'm like, man, this is so real. This is so great. I'm G.I. Jane.
Yeah, there's so many things I could say. Like they're like putting bags over your head and like choking you, and I'm like, don't say it. Let's stay monetized. Let's stay
That's a normal
monetized.
Tuesday night at my house.
And then I realized like I have all this trauma, and
And it actually worked out well for you.
it worked out well.
It was perfect. It was a perfect
I
fit.
excelled really well in my career field.
There you go. Well, and all this training, I mean, it prepares you for
Well, yeah, just
a lot of really difficult scenarios, like being on naked.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how you got through it, was
so
remembering all this training, right?
So what's crazy is that the same day that happened, they asked me, you know, at the end of the day, you have to like talk into your camera, and that's what I talked about. And then a few minutes later, I had asked her to help me with something, my partner, and she.
I want to talk about her.
And so she was I'm gonna keep my like.
Look,
nothing
I'll
but
go ahead
respect.
and say it. Stephanie, you and I watched the episode. We were
Yeah,
there. We saw
did,
the whole
did,
thing.
We did.
She was insufferable. It was annoying to watch.
One thing that I will say to save face on her behalf, I honestly, I'm gonna be real. I don't want to speak with her. I just don't. Not right now. Maybe I'm not ready. I just don't. But one of the things that I will say is that she went out there and she tried, man. Like
She did.
She
did
did her all.
try.
I want to throw that out. That's my disclaimer, right? I'm not gonna
She
sit
got
here.
naked and she was afraid.
Yeah, dude.
She was terrified.
She was
Yeah,
clearly
she's
out
like-
She
of
was
her element.
crying on the second day.
But see, like, it's hard for me to put myself in somebody else's shoes who has not been
Or no
through the
shoes.
suck. Or no shoes.
Or no shoes,
absolutely.
In this case, yeah.
But, yeah, I'm not going to get a pedicure before I go out.
Oh,
to
yeah, that was the
wild,
other thing.
but,
She got a pedicure before she went to.
She had
whatever.
to have. She had to have.
Yeah.
Her toenails looked fantastic. Great feet content.
Okay, Stephanie.
Wow. I'm trying to stay monetized here, Steph.
So sorry.
She's like,
We know what
subscribe
Stephanie
to my.
focuses on.
She's like,
Look at
subscribe to
those
my
toes.
OnlyFriends. Like OnlyFriends, what's that? It's anyway.
It's a texting app.
Yeah.
Love it.
So I can't put myself in somebody's shoes who has never been through the suck. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I've had to dig holes in Africa. Like, I've been out where, you know, it's 130 degrees out in the middle of nowhere and you're running away from camel spiders and stuff. So she can't put herself in my
Camel
shoes.
spiders.
Terrifying.
They're
okay?
huge, right?
Gigantic.
Oh.
I have
hate
never
that.
run so
Ooh, I hate
fast
that.
in my life. So it's really hard for me to put myself in somebody's
They're
shoes
like
that
that
is
big.
never. No, they're not.
With the size of trash cans.
Oh God, why are you putting them up on the?
Oh, is Josh pulling them up?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's,
yep,
that's
no.
not real. That's not real.
Oh, that's photoshopped.
Yeah, dude, they're actually not as big as like. So Marines have this thing like where they'll spread rumors, and by the time you know it, they'll just.
See, I've seen them, and they're like as big as my face.
They're
like
pretty
this big. And I watched a girl try to kill it with the chancla, and it didn't work. Okay.
She obviously wasn't Hispanic.
No,
I can say that. I can say that.
She didn't know how to work She didn't know how to work chancla.
She's like, and I was like, this ain't gonna end good.
Is
I
that
gotta
it?
go.
That's not gonna get it.
No, I was like, time to head out.
That's a tiny spider. That looks like a brown recluse, actually.
Yeah,
I mean, they're like that big, dude.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Regardless. But
chased
yeah, you're right. You can't necessarily know how you would react in a situation like Justin's partner on Naked and Afraid.
But I've been through a lot of similar type of training where they told us, your mind's going to give out before your body does.
Yeah.
And when your body gives out, that's fine because your body has had enough.
Right.
But your mind is our problem. If you can get back up and hold that position, your body didn't give out, your mind did.
Dude.
And you could tell that's exactly what happened.
Well, okay. So I just talked about that equanimity moment,
Yeah.
right? Which I have, again, tattooed right here. And that, like, dude, there's moments that have forced me to just dig, dude. And you have to literally go into a trance. I know it sounds crazy, but you literally have to be like, I'm not getting out of here. Making noises isn't going to get me out of here. So you just suck it up. And I'll explain here in a minute what I do to keep pushing. But right after that, I was like, hey, can you help me with A, B, and C? And she's like, I just poked my eyes. My depth perception is really messed up. And then she like, I was like, the timing of that was just insane, right? Because I was just talking about like equanimity and like this guy lost his right eye. And like,
You got to separate yourself from the pain,
and then
players.
right after, she's like, I hurt my, and I was like, oh, good. But dude, when I talk about digging, right, one of the things that I always say in life is like, if I were to tell you, hey, dude, could you run a marathon right now? You'd say no. And I said, what if I give you $100? You'd say no. And people literally say that they can't, right? And I don't even like saying the words like in saying it. And then they say, I swear I don't like having in my vocabulary, right? So what I do is I say, would you do it for $100? And they say no. And I said, what about if I gave you $1 billion cash with suitcases opened up tax-free? And they're like,
You try?
100%. No, they do it.
Give it a shot,
They'll
yeah.
100% do it. And then I'm like, cool. Meaning you are fully capable. You just lack the motivation. Meaning that you physically can do that. You just can't find the ways to motivate yourself, right? And so what I would do, anytime that they would do like last one standing, I would always win. Ask anyone in my platoon. They'd be like, we're going to go until there's nobody else. And I once did it for this long and I would surpass the instructor and he'd like, oh yeah, well, and in my mind, the reason why I was so hard is because I would think of crazy stuff. I would motivate myself. This may sound super extreme, but I would imagine they'd say, if your butt hits, you're out. And I'd say, okay, and it's a competition. So I would imagine something super crazy. And again, we're trying to stay monetized. But
If I fail, they're gonna kill my whole family.
no, dude. I swear to God, I would be like, if my butt hits, and I would envision my mother, right? Like, it's gonna sound crazy, who's like the person I hold closest to me in my life. I would imagine her, and I would imagine somebody saying, if your butt hits, I'll do it, right? Pointing.
Yeah.
And I would imagine.
I was thinking like your whole platoon, your hard platoon, with your mom.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That
That's you.
would motivate me.
What is wrong
Yeah,
I'm
with
just
you?
saying, like, if we're looking for strong motivation, dude.
That's his mom.
Yeah,
Well,
dude.
yeah, exactly. That's why it's so motivating.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was a beautiful woman, dude. That's how I got here. But like, I would imagine somebody.
Not very tall, but very.
She literally brought you here right
She
now.
literally brought me here. Like, no, like I don't have a car. Like, she dropped me off.
She dropped, yeah.
She like this. We better not run over an hour because like she's got somewhere to be.
She
later,
is going to
you know?
be ticked.
Yeah, she's gonna be ticked off.
She's got to get to the container store.
Yeah.
It's very important.
But yeah, man, I would envision stuff like that. So anytime that I felt like my body, I would just go to that dark place, dude, and boom, and I would just, and you gotta lie to yourself, right? And
Yeah.
and what I'm saying is that physically you are possible, or if you imagined it was a matter of life and death, you would last a whole lot longer than if you had the option to just say, this is uncomfortable, right? And that's the mentality that carried me. So to be honest, on the show, the reason why you didn't see any edits of me breaking. And I'm not the baddest dude on the planet. I know that. I've been beat up plenty of times. But mentally, dude, I know that I'm tough, right? And so
Yeah.
I gave 0 seconds. 0, 0, 0. Not 1, not 3. 0 seconds of me breaking on purpose. They would even say stuff like I'd be scratching and I'd be bleeding everywhere. And then somebody would say like, how bad are these bugs right now? Or like, tell me how bad those bugs are. And they would point a camera at me and I would look at them and say like, suck my dick, right? Swear to God.
Or an ant bit
yeah.
my balls out.
Yeah. And
Why?
and they would laugh. They would start laughing and they'd be like, they would just nod their head, right? And it's
Because they
of
can't
course,
use that.
they're not gonna use that.
They're not going to air that, of
But
course.
dude, on the same note, like, you know, after days and days, like, it's not even about the cameras anymore, dude. Like, you literally are losing so much weight that you're like, they're like, tell me how bad the bugs are, and you're looking at them, and you're like, this probably isn't PC, and you're like, suck my dick, right? Like, I'm not gonna break.
I mean, after that many days, you're losing your mind at that point.
And you were still
If you allow
trying,
yourself to.
You were still trying to keep your partner motivated. You
I
were
was.
still
I was.
telling her, come on, you got this. Like, we're going to do this. Look, we got a meal. This is great.
But there comes a point, right?
Yeah.
And again, they edited it a certain way, and I don't want to say too much without like compromise. I'm not saying anything crazy that didn't happen, but yeah, I definitely motivated her a lot more than what came out on camera, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And eventually, dude, you realize that like it's like telling somebody that wants to go to rehab, like, hey, you want to go to rehab? And they're like, yeah, I'm gonna go. And then the next day, hey, you can do this. You can talk to them so many times, but if they don't want to help themselves, you're honestly wasting your breath and you're wasting your time.
Well, and
You can lead
that's
a
exactly
horse
what
to water,
happened.
but you can't make them drink.
Yeah.
You can't
that's right.
motivate somebody who's not going to be motivated.
Well, and we saw it on the episode. Like
Yeah.
he had just had like a really motivating conversation with her, and literally I don't know how long it was.
And then it
later.
shows her breaking and leaving.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, man. I mean, dude, the mentality, like your mind is the strongest tool that you've ever been given. I was thinking about this earlier. When it is not strong is when you're on mushrooms. Don't do mushrooms.
All right.
Right? You're like,
Fair enough.
I don't want to be tripping out anymore. And you're like, the mind is the strongest tool you've ever been given. I will not be high anymore. And you're like, how does gravity keep me down? Like,
Why are the trees
Yeah.
attacking me?
trees are alive.
I
you
told
know?
a story to Josh about why I don't smoke anymore, and it's because I smoked one time and had a panic attack for 3 hours, paced in a circle, and convinced myself in my mind that this is how homeless people become homeless.
See,
They smoke too
this
much
is-
and
these
lose
are
it.
the types of stories from my friends that have kept me sober my entire
See,
life.
there you go.
You've never done anything?
No.
Wow. You're like virgin?
yeah, basically.
Wow.
Why'd you say it like that? You're like virgin.
You're like virgin? It was the Hispanic
He
came
just
out of me.
got so excited. He was like, "Wait, what?"
No, I went into my primal state, dude. I went back into a naked afraid mode. Like, you
I
are
could
virgin?
sell her for so much.
Wow, I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
On the
I
black
didn't say it.
market.
Oh, I know how much I'm worth in the Middle East and Africa, all right? I got offered 8 to 12 camels for me at one point on one deployment.
Wow,
So
8 to 12. Well, what's
We were
the
trying to
price
figure
of a camel though? I think let's put this in
here
dollar
it's like-
amounts.
From here, US dollar, it's like $8,500 for a full grown camel. Somewhere around
Wow,
there.
so that's
Yeah.
like $100,000. Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
like 12 camels. That would be
Come to
roughly
Dubai,
$100,000.
yeah.
That's a generous offer.
Yeah, I mean,
This guy really liked you.
We were trying to figure out how we were going to fit those into a C-130.
True. Okay. To get him back to
What
the
do you
U.S.
mean we? What do you mean we?
Yeah, you were staying.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
You were staying with homeboy.
Oh yeah, no, there
The
was
camel chic.
constant jokes about me being sold off somewhere, but it's okay.
I just want to cover. I want to cover your. Just see your eyes. It's about 8 camels.
Okay. Well, before we
About 8 camels.
yeah, that's getting into dangerous territory. So when you were doing all these challenges for Naked and Afraid, right? I mean, just watching it, you were going through hell. I mean, the bug bites, the hunger. You know,
We seen what your butt looked like.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
it was-
You
That
were
was looking pretty rough.
covered
Honestly,
in
dude,
bug bites.
it was atrocious, right? But like, the payout is, dude, the experience I got to get out there, especially when I was all the way by myself, right? When I was done, the last 5 days that I was out there, they, you know, the crew leaves at a certain point during
Yeah.
the day. They're like, here, the cameras are set up, and they leave. And I just thought to myself, like, this is rad. Like, I wasn't necessarily in the Amazon, but I was like very, very close
Right.
to the Amazon.
You were
We're
in
only-
Guyana, right?
I was in Guyana, right? And
Guyana,
the jungle
South
that I was
America.
in, like, touches the Amazon. It's so similar. Like, you're barely in. It doesn't matter. It's pretty much the Amazon, right? And so I was standing there, and the sun would be going down at night. I'd be alone. Like, they literally take off like forever away, like hour and a half, right? It's like real.
Oh, wow, it's that far?
Yeah. And they leave you, and they give you a radio. Oh man, I'm not supposed to say that. Whatever. But that's like an emergency.
Emergency.
It's emergency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if it came, that was one of the big things
like
on the
if
show
you
for
get
the
attacked,
Caymans.
yeah, if you get
Yeah.
attacked or something, you
Like,
have to have some type of emergency.
Yeah, they're not gonna show up in the morning and be like, lost another one, and I'm just like mauled
Where's
to
your
death.
leg?
Looks like an alligator got
Right.
him.
But
Although, in all reality, I think if you did get attacked by a caiman in the middle of the night and lost some kind of limb, we would find you with like a stick tied to it going, ah!
Oh yeah, he would definitely figure out a way to fight the
Yeah.
Cayman for sure.
I
Dude.
feel like you would have still not even left.
I just feel like my mentality is like, we're all gonna die. Right? No, for real, we're all gonna die.
yeah.
And like
Dying
even
right now, actually.
yeah, literally. You are.
The light.
This isn't real. Yeah. This isn't real. This isn't
Everything okay over there?
You remember when you sat down on that black couch over there and we started asking you questions?
That's a red couch.
Okay, whoa,
Justin.
Hey, I didn't say anything.
Not that kind of.
We're monetized.
Not that kind of podcast.
We're monetized. We're still monetized.
No, but what I wanted to ask you was, what was the most difficult part of being on Naked and Afraid? Like, what was the most difficult part?
The bugs, man.
The bugs. Okay.
Bugs were atrocious, bro. Atrocious.
You still have the scars, right?
100%. Right? Like,
That's insane.
Like I have no hair on my
Was
butt.
it like mosquitoes or ants? Like which specific bug?
Well, first of all, an ant did bite my ball sack.
That was part of the trailer, right?
I could see,
for
I
his
could
episode.
see a vendetta going for that one.
Oh, dude, I've been killing ants like.
See him out there with a.
Dude, I was outside Burger King the other day, and I
Burn.
was, and I convinced a bunch of crackheads with me, right? And I was like, let's kill all the ants, and they were like, the ants, and I was like, they're gonna take over the world, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, yeah, dude. And I'm paying them in like cheeseburgers. That's messed up.
You're starting a cult of
I'm starting a
crackheads.
cult, dude.
They're sitting down
They're
and giving them magnifying
man wanted
glasses,
for
like,
convincing homeless community that ants are the antichrist. Like, whoa. Anyway, but yeah, dude, like
focus shifts from pigeons to ants.
Yep, there you go.
yeah, dude.
Birds aren't real, and neither are ants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I had like, you know, I have no hair on my butt. I pride myself on that. Like since birth, everybody, like even boot camp, right? Or like in the Marines.
That's a good fact to know.
In the Marines, guys would be like, hey man, we're like a month 4, dude. And I'm just saying, and I'd be like, yeah, stay away. Like you couldn't have this if you wanted.
Stay away from
you
my
know?
hairless butt,
Yeah.
y'all.
I even have that
Well,
bit.
now it's
Why
all
would-
over the internet.
What would they
so-
want to do with it?
Josh,
We're staying
I think-
monetized here, bro.
I was just asking what
We're
they wanted to do with his hairless butt.
I mean, I think they
Use
it
it
was
to win
a
the war.
once again going back to this hard group of Marines.
Oh, I got something.
You know,
Yeah.
I
They're
got
trying
something.
to win the war with his butt.
So we always like, you know, I got that bit on like these are the reason why I have my bit right with comedy of I started the Marine Corps during Don't Ask Don't Tell. However, the Marines made me gay, right? And then
where's this going, Justin? You
So-
got to be careful with this.
do I? So we used to play a game, right? You remember that movie? You remember the movie Waiting?
What game
Oh,
are we
yeah.
playing, Justin?
So you know how you try and trick somebody into seeing your genitals, right? That's still
Correct.
monetized,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so it became, for some reason, it
thing.
inspired us, right? And we would do
Gotta be a
stuff.
guy thing.
Dude, one time a guy was like, we're all in conversation on a boat, and there's like 10 of us in this little tight area, and there's a dude in the corner, and the whole time he's reading a book. Like, he's reading a book for like a while, dude. And we're going off. It's like 10, 15 minutes, and he's just like, and he's like super interested in this book, and he's got it in his lap, right? And then he's like, "Hey, dude, check this out. This book is crazy, dude. You have to see this." And like after like 10 minutes of this dude just sitting there, bro, we all like pop over. We're like, "Oh!"
He's got his.
Right? And then he looks up,
Obviously.
and then he calls you a derogatory term, and then you just start laughing. You're like, "Oh, me, dude, me!" Like, and
It's got to
so
be a man thing because
Oh,
like,
it's
so-
as women,
100%.
we don't do that.
Of course not.
So-
We're just so comfortable
because
with
you're
everybody.
civilized.
So-
no, we're just all so comfortable with being naked around each other. We go to the
I
bathroom.
mean, I also wouldn't laugh. Like, I'm not.
Really?
I'm just being honest. Like, you're my friend and all that, right? But like, if I like opened up a notebook and I saw a picture of you naked, I wouldn't be like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, that's hilarious. You know what I mean?
You just immediately start choking yourself.
Yeah, no.
That's
I'd
worth
be like, I'd be like, I'm gonna go sell this for 8 camels. Like, and so, dude, like, I remember when we went to Kuwait before we went into Iraq, we all had disposable cameras. We didn't have digital. And for whatever reason,
Good times.
one of my buddies thought it'd be a great idea to get a bunch of disposable cameras and just take photos of his genitals, right? And he developed them. He developed them in Kuwait, right? And so he waited till we were in Iraq. And dude, we would trick each other. Like we'd get more and more creative ways to trick each other. And then one time we went out on a mission and we're trying to get someone that was like, you know, maybe putting bombs in the road. And we're literally like, I was a sniper, right? So we're like setting up. And I remember, so I opened up my data book and it's just like photo after photo of my buddy. And it's like his testicles, right? And he would write words like with a pen. He would like carve it into the photo. And I'm not going to say the word because.
Of course not.
Right. And he would just like write words into me. And I'll be like, you're clearly projecting, brother. Like 100%.
Well,
right?
we're going straight back to
Right.
you have to be a little bit insane to be a
Yeah.
Marine.
And
yeah.
Absolutely.
So dude, I pop my scope open, right? And it's like still kind of dark. And I pop my scope and I can't see anything. It's all dark. And I'm like, what the hell? And I backed out and he cut a perfect little circular cutout and he put it on my scope and he wrote the derogatory term again. And I started, dude, I'm like supposed to be quiet. Like none of us are supposed to make noise. And I'm just like cracking up and everyone's like, what? And I'm like pointing at my scope and we're all just done. We're like, that's pretty good. That's
That took a
solid.
lot of work.
That's like dedication, right?
Creative.
It was.
And so,
Creative.
so we get back. We don't do anything on that. Like we did more reporting on that mission. We report what we have to report, and then we get back, and they're like, "Dude, you hear about Governale? Dude, he packed a bunch of photos of Bruce's balls, right?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm the weird one," and everyone just made fun of me all day. And I was like, "Okay, I'm the wacko, right?" Like that took like months and months of planning, dude. Like straight up,
Dude, literally.
Literally.
But I mean, clearly y'all had a lot of time on your hands, though.
yeah.
So, I mean, what else are you going to do with that kind of
He
time?
had a lot of time to take pictures.
Apparently. This guy played the long game
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
showing
Yeah.
everyone his balls.
Absolutely.
So
wild.
So I'm ready to 100% PTSD for that, dude.
100% disabled.
I mean, that's very
because of
traumatic.
All the
Yeah,
balls that he saw. Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
That's the worst thing you saw during
Well, no,
war.
no,
was
no.
just-
It's because of all the penis I saw. And that wasn't the worst part. The worst part is that most of them were uncircumcised.
Okay.
Oh.
That's just terrible, dude.
Dude, why?
We're monetized.
Just why?
That's monetized.
Just why?
That's
But
monetized.
why?
That's a medical term.
oh
That's
my
a medical term, dude. That's a medical term. Right?
There's a lot of medical terms that are
This
not
guy
monetized.
just got off Naked and Afraid, and instead of talking about
Bro, you're naked on the show.
how
dude.
well yeah,
We're
clearly the
talking
Marines
about his
prepared you for
friend's
that. Yeah,
genitals
exactly.
everywhere.
That's what we're talking about
Everywhere,
right now.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm a comic too, bro. None of this
okay.
is real. I didn't even go to the war. I made it all up for jokes, dude. All right.
It's a bit. The whole thing's a bit.
I was an admin clerk, dude. Like, it's just funny. Like, you know,
I don't even have to be a stand-up like comedian. My whole life is a joke.
You have plenty of trauma to be a stand-up. I mean, that's the
absolutely.
prerequisite.
Like,
yeah.
That's what makes me funny, though.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yes, that is what makes you funny. Josh always argues
Without
with me
all
about
the
this.
trauma.
When do I argue about that?
When I said that like trauma is what makes us funny,
yeah.
you started arguing with me about it.
No, I said that your trauma wasn't anything.
Okay.
he said before the show when we told him that Steph was gonna be on here, he's like, she's never gone through anything, dude. Like,
Absolutely, you're right.
literally
I made
said
it all
that,
up.
dude.
You're right. You're right.
Once again, it's all just a bit.
My therapist is just there for show. She's a cover story. I actually made my first therapist quit on me after 3 sessions.
3 sessions and she was out.
Yeah, they called me. They were like, Stephanie, you can't meet with her anymore. And I was like, is it me?
You're making her sad.
Was it me? Like,
Was it me?
and she was like, oh no. And I was like, you're lying to me to make me feel better. And I'm like, oh, this is probably why I'm in therapy.
It was definitely you.
Yeah. So my new therapist is just like, so we're going to start over from the beginning. And I was like, oh, so
But
y'all
this is
don't
why my
talk.
last therapist left. You're only making my abandonment issues worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so now she sits there and we talk and I'm like, and I'm asking her questions. I was like, so do y'all have to have therapist for being a therapist?
I would hope so.
She was like, oh, we're in a group chat. We just send a bunch of memes back and forth. I was like,
nice.
but that's not therapy for
Those
me.
aren't memes.
And
Those are me. They're
See,
photos
that
of me.
proves what I've been saying all along, that the best form of therapy is just laugh your way through it.
Exactly. I'm in like 17 group chats
right.
where all I send is inappropriate memes
dad
about
died.
trauma.
He hung himself and I was
Like I tell people, I was like, man, I've got like more pictures of dead bodies on my phone than any normal person should. But that's
wow. Whoa.
I mean, you do a true crime podcast, Stephanie.
I
so
do, but it's not- those are
justifiable.
scenes-
That has nothing to do with it.
No.
I was trying to give you the benefit
I know,
of the doubt
I
there.
know, but like,
that was your out.
I was a cop for too long, man. Like I've got dead bodies on my phone.
Yeah,
I've got dumb stuff
yeah.
on my phone.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So you were in the military.
Yeah.
You were also a cop,
Yeah.
and now you're a full-time
Twitch streamer, content
influencer,
creator,
social media influencer.
terrible TikToker, just post up traumatic stories of my
Yeah,
life.
literally. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you should be on Naked and Afraid because all this trauma that Justin went through that he's able to synthesize
Well, then why would I
into
have
mental
an
fortitude.
OnlyFriends if I went on Naked and Afraid and gave it away for free?
Because
To the entire
blurred.
country.
They're blur. Exactly. They blur out the goods. The goods.
See, but
Yeah.
I can have the blur without the bud bites.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Actually, that's a really good point, and probably make more money
Yeah.
and potentially be
And-
even more famous.
Potentially.
I mean, you're definitely more famous than me and Justin for sure.
Plus, like I know me,
D-list.
and I have already come to the conclusion that if the zombie apocalypse happens,
Okay.
I'm just gonna walk out and become a zombie and go after everybody that's ever
Wow.
traumatized me. Yeah.
Wow. That is cold-hearted.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm gonna try to escape. I'm prepared.
No,
It's none
no.
of that. No, I'm gonna become a zombie, and I'm gonna.
I'm gonna
I have
start
a list.
leading the
I have a
zombies.
list of people
My entire goal is to become like queen of the zombies and take over the world.
Why wouldn't you want to be a vampire instead of a zombie, though?
I had a dream once that I was on the Titanic and it was full of vampires, and that's when I learned that I needed to lay off melatonin. Okay. But,
Well,
I don't want to be a vampire. We're not having a vampire apocalypse. We're having a zombie apocalypse.
I just think a vampire would be more suited to your goals of taking out your enemies.
Probably, but nobody talks about a vampire apocalypse.
That's true. Maybe we should. Maybe now's the time.
I want to get bit by a vampire, dude. That'd be so dope.
You want to live forever?
Yeah, dude. That'd be dope. All at night. Don't have to go out in the day. Bet, dude.
Yeah, but
I do that already.
You wouldn't be able to enjoy tacos animour.
I would enjoy human blood. Way cooler, dude.
Fair enough. No, that's fair.
Yeah. Maybe like, did we say 8 camels? Like, bite her for free.
You're going to catch him out there, like finding all of his Marine buddies. Remember that time you showed me your dick?
Yeah. And then you can
How's this now? Oh, gee.
What's that? What? What'd you say?
She said, I'll bite it off.
Whoa.
Yeah,
She's like, no, you'll live forever. She's like, do you want to live forever? I'm like, yeah, baby, I'm in love with you. And
you know how usually you go for the neck? I do something a little different.
Yeah.
I'm going to suck something, all right.
Yeah, you're gonna live forever. Hey, dude, that's whoa. Actually,
remember
what if that was
keep it PG?
Someone's approach is like, I'm a vampire, guys, but in order to get the blood, I have to do it a different way, kind of.
Well, that was my whole goal when I worked in a jail too. So like,
oh, hang on.
So here,
you understand what we're talking about right now.
No.
Those inmates,
so like,
they were
here's
hard.
The thing, like when somebody's trying to kill you, right? Somebody's trying to kill you. They're trying to fight you, right? All it takes is biting somebody in the dick one time, and nobody's gonna mess with you.
Wow, Steph. I thought
nobody's gonna mess with you. They're gonna be like, nah, she's crazy.
This is why we broke up, Steph.
We don't.
This is why we broke up.
She wouldn't stop biting my penis.
I was like, you are not. Vampires are not real, Steph. Stop biting my penis, dude. Stop, dude. Stop.
My sergeant told me that, and I was like, man, that's great advice.
She's like, you said it on camera that ants did it. Why can't I do it on OnlyFans? I'm like, Steph bit my ballsack.
Wrong.
Like, it's weird. It's weird, dude.
Wrong girl.
I want to live forever.
I've got friends that if you need that stuff. But
I don't know how we got here, but I love it.
Yeah. Anyway, Naked and Afraid, bro. Like,
yeah,
they're never gonna have me back now. Dude.
You're done.
Thanks. Nah, I'll go back.
It's over. This guy's talking about biting penises. I don't know what's happening anymore. So, like the stuff that happened off camera, you can't talk about a whole lot of that, right? But one of the things that I've always been curious about, because I used to watch Naked and Afraid every Sunday. Me and one of my good friends, we would binge watch episodes of Naked and Afraid. And one of the things that I always wondered was, are you actually in real danger? Not just from the elements, obviously, but like from animals, spiders, snakes, caiman crocodiles. I mean,
yeah, you are actually. You have to read up. You have to read up on some stuff before, and then
they give you a study packet, give you homework.
You should just do your own research, but then again, they got to make sure that you don't die, right? So there's like
yeah, it's bad for
you can't have like
not
like
great publicity. Yeah,
six Naked and Afraid contestant dies
eaten by a hippo.
Yeah. So but there's like stipulations.
I mean, that's a cool way to go, at least.
There's stipulations like, hey, like if you were thinking of doing this, don't do it because the chances of you like actually dying are actually like.
Do not sneak up on a hippo and smack.
Yeah, they just
bad idea.
No matter how bad you want to.
I know,
right? But like,
no matter how caked up that hippo is, you gotta stay away from the butt.
Listen, we get you're a white woman out there, but that puppy is not for pets.
Wow.
Ooh, puppy.
No, ma'am, that is a cougar.
And
see, you know what? That's why they gotta just send all like the white women on TikTok out there. They're gonna come out and they're gonna have like all the like crocodiles and pink collars and little sweaters and stuff. And
they would gentrify the wilderness. Yeah. That's cute. That's really cute.
Listen, this is fluffy and it's got no hair.
Maybe like, can you keep it down, hippo?
Yeah, right, literally.
I'm trying to sleep. Boom, they eat it. Like, hey, can you not eat my friends? But
that was I just obviously watching the episodes, right? You see these really dangerous animals getting close to the contestants. And I was just like, did you ever feel like you were in real danger?
There was 2 moments, right?
Okay.
One, unfortunately, it did not air. And again, I got to be like careful on what I say and stuff. But essentially, there was a huge fire, like an actual fire that broke out. Because it was me trying to control the fire, and I just thought I had some great idea, and It was a terrible idea.
You started a forest fire?
Justin
No, I
started
just-
a forest fire
No.
in the
the
Amazon.
Amazon.
No,
Literally, the rainforest.
No, it wasn't like a wildlife issue. It was just like a camp issue, right? Where I woke up and I was out. There was no longer like, hey, like, haha, I'm on a show. I literally was like, I am like, and yeah, it was crazy. And I was kind of scared there. There's another moment you probably don't remember, but I don't know if you all heard it or not. I don't even know if that portion aired, but there was a moment when I was freaking crossing the river during my extract. And I was I was chilling, I was crossing it, and I was like, hell yeah, dude. Like, I'm about
Just
to get out of
vibing?
here.
Yeah.
I was like, this is dope, dude. Like, I'm in that. And I swear to you, dude, I heard in the distance, like, something huge, dude. Just like huge splash. It wasn't like, it was like, it just, something just hopped in, and I no longer was like, I'm on a TV show, I'm about to extract. I was like, I was legitimately,
Panicking.
I was legitimately freaking out, dude. So if you know, like, I don't,
Starts doggy paddle.
yeah, I gotta watch it again. And but there was a moment where I was just cruising, I was vibing, like you said, and then I heard a splash, and I was like, get out of the water now, like,
Gotta go.
And so what was crazy is after, you know, there's people on site and stuff, and they actually don't talk to you and stuff, right? Like they let you just got to do your thing. And
They're just there to document. Yeah.
yeah, but there was like maybe a whisper or two of like they like looked at me, like after that happened, they like looked, and they're kind of like, did you hear that? And I was like, yo, that was real, right? I'm not crazy,
They're
right?
not going
Like,
to tell you if they heard
Because-
it or not. They're just like,
well,
We're not going to
Yeah.
say anything, but we just want you to know you almost got your foot bit off.
yeah, and there's also like
That
when you
was
saw
wild.
me dreaming and stuff, right?
Yeah.
On the show, that was real. And they just showed the tail end of that, but that whole episode was like 10 minutes. But the reason why I probably didn't show is because I woke up and I was like far away from my camp, right?
What?
And so you're still mic'd up, but I like woke up and I was like, hello. I was like yelling, like, is anyone there? And I was like,
You slept walk out of the camp?
I didn't just sleepwalk out of the camp. I had 2 sticks that were on fire, right? Swear to God. And but it wasn't on camera. I literally went off, like, because they're not there at night. They set up cameras, and they you pretty much, like, you're not going to go far. Like, you can't see anything.
Theoretically.
right?
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Unless you're Justin Governale.
Yeah. But I woke up, dude, and it was like a 10-minute episode, and I'm panicking, bro. I like put the fire out. Actually, I remember I don't put it out yet. I remember I like used it as an actual torch, and I was like, and honestly, dude, the part that does air was I'm talking to the jungle. I'm saying, like, what do you want me to do? Right? Like, I say something like that. Dude, I swear to you, the jungle started talking to me, right? And it was like
malaria.
Yikes.
Does wild things.
no, it's gonna sound crazy, but it like pulled me. It sounds bizarre, but this is what's going through my head. I know it's gonna sound crazy again. It's like the jungle, the aliveness of the jungle. It's like it sounds hard to explain. Like
I have to ask, did you find any mushrooms
Dude,
out
literally,
there while
that's
you were there?
exactly what I was thinking.
I hadn't eaten, dude. I hadn't eaten in like 6 days, dude.
Like
That'll do it.
some ayahuasca slipped into the
So,
water pot.
Dude, there was like it's kind of like lightning, but it's like alive, right? And it like grabbed me and it pulled me under, and it started talking to me, and it started saying, make an X. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. How do you want me to do it? And it was like, figure it out, make an X. And I was like, okay. So when I woke up, I literally had 2 sticks and they were on fire. And I was like, boom. And I woke up and I was like, where am I? Right. And I'm looking around. Right. And
So you were having some very vivid dreams.
I had those dreams 2 nights in a row.
Whoa.
The second night I had the same kind of dream. And at this point, the jungle, it multiplied, right? It was like one like great being that was telling me to do stuff. And then the next day there was like the great jungle, and then there was like a whole bunch of like creatures that like worked for the jungle, and they were controlling me and making me do
Dude,
stuff.
I think Justin got possessed out there in Guyana.
But bro, you have to understand.
That sounds like demon possession, does
Dude,
it
but
not?
you have to understand that I am so food deprived, you're sleep deprived, because
Yeah.
hallucinating. at
one
that
of the
point
things
and-
is that you have to keep your fire going. Your fire goes out, you freaking
You're
have no
done.
water. You can't boil water,
Yeah.
right? And I'm trying to keep my fire alive, and it rained every single night, so you don't really get to sleep. And I'm just gonna be honest, my partner didn't wake up a whole bunch of times and like tend to the fire, right? So it was pretty much like she'd literally wake me up and go, Justin, fire, and go back to sleep, and I'd be like,
Honey, it's your turn
cool.
to go
Yeah.
for the keg.
You want to know what I noticed about Naked and Afraid? You skip 15 years of marriage, bro. Like, do I
Oh,
want to
just
get
go-
married? No, I don't, because
You just go straight to the hatred.
yeah, you go straight to like, we're naked and don't want to hook up, right?
Yep.
Like, and so anyway, dude, the second night is, I think they caught the tail end, and I was like, what do you want me to do? And I'm waking up, but like both times I was like way off camera, and I had to have a moment with myself, right? That also didn't come out. And the moment with myself, like I didn't vocalize stuff. I didn't say like, oh, I'm having these crazy dreams. I didn't cry. I just had a moment when I was like, bro, you're out of here in 2 freaking days. Keep it together. Keep it together, dude.
Yeah.
And that's what I had to do. And I knew that if I broke on camera, that they would use the 2 seconds of me like, cry. So I was just like, keep it together, equanimity, right? Stay checked in.
Yeah.
I also know that someone was going to see that needed to see that, right? Yes, it's television, right? Yes, it's reality television. Yes, I've gotten freaking dozens of messages of people I've never met in my life on Facebook, Facebook requests saying, I needed to watch that episode last night. I'm going through some stuff. You changed my life, blah, blah, blah. And I don't screenshot them. I don't put them out there. I don't even like that I'm talking about it right now, right? But what I'm saying is like there was a purpose and there was a strategy. Like I was like a representative of adversity in that aspect, right? 'Cause I talk about, I stepped on floors till I was 11. Love my mom to death. Love her. But we had a crazy first 11 years, dude. It was freaking insane.
But it was all leading up to this. And that, I feel like that's the coolest part about this is that it was preparing you for bigger and better things.
And what's funny,
including hallucinating in the jungle.
Yeah. I don't even like publicizing this.
Justin of the jungle.
Yeah. But at the very end of the episode, they did, they like ask you, you know, there's like post-production stuff and they ask you a series of questions. Maybe it airs, maybe it doesn't, but he was so crazy the whole time. I was like, I'll never cry, right? And then they're like, if you were to go back to your 5-year-old self and tell yourself advice with what you know today, what would you tell your 5-year-old self? And I was like, I would say it's gonna get better. Right? and then
Protect your hairless butt at all costs.
Yeah. And then
Some Marines out there are gonna think your butt
yeah,
looks
dude.
real nice.
Yeah. Like whenever they show you the pictures.
That is really cool though.
Yeah, so and
is
it's
really, really
crazy
cool,
because at the very end, like the show is done, like, and that's a wrap. That's like one of the last, you know, you gotta talk in the camera when you're done. And I'm done. And then everybody's like, great job, man. That was awesome. And then he's like, I almost got you to cry. And I was like,
we almost did it.
I was like, nope.
That was the camera guy's like goal the entire time, was to break Justin.
I have to ask, like, how'd you keep from tackling one of the caimans or alligators or whatever? I know it.
Oh man, I wish I could.
I know it crossed through your mind.
I wish I could.
Once.
You wanted to jujitsu the caiman alligator?
But
Yeah.
absolutely.
But here's the deal, dude. Truth be told, I don't actually know how to survive in the jungle, right? Like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I figured it out.
I don't either, but it wouldn't stop.
I think I got pretty damn good at it, right? But but what's a trip is I like saw it's like one of them was taunting me, dude. It would come around and I would be like, oh, I'm gonna get it, and then it would disappear. But it wouldn't just disappear. It'd be like when it go underwater, and I'd be like,
well,
and I'd go in the water, and I'd be
eat
like,
the caiman?
yeah, hell yeah, you
Yeah.
can. Hell yeah, you can.
That's a lot of meat.
Gator
That's
bites.
good meat. Yeah.
It's delicious.
You just got to make sure that
great
you
meat.
cook it properly so you don't get parasites.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Which
So
Char.
here's the question that I've been waiting to ask, and you kind of did bring it up a little bit, but this is the thing I'm always curious about with Naked and Afraid is the temptation to potentially conjugate, let's say, with your Naked and Afraid partner. Obviously, that was not an issue for you and your partner, right?
No, definitely not. I feel, to be honest, dude, like when you get out there,
You've
Like,
got to be
well,
feeling
let's say-
your least sexy that you've ever
you just
felt.
don't care,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
I mean, but let's say Stephanie was your partner on Naked and Afraid.
No, definitely not.
We probably would
No.
have definitely tackled an alligator.
Yeah.
That would have happened.
Is that like a euphemism for something?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. I had to Google that.
Listen, because somewhere out there, I would want footage of me naked wrestling an alligator. All right.
I mean, that's pretty intense.
Wow. And there's shows for that in Florida.
I mean, that's what some
I'm
people
sure
call it
there
wrestling,
actually
you know?
are, You know.
Yeah, man.
That would be so badass, though.
But there's no temptation to.
Like two things. I bring it back to boot camp, right? They say in boot camp that they put something in your freaking food so you don't get like erect or whatever.
Oh,
I think you're just under so much stress that it doesn't happen. And then like, it just so happens that a few days before you graduate, you're all excited again. You're like, oh, I'm going to see my girlfriend. I'm 18, right?
right.
And you're just like, oh, nice. Right on. Right. And so I think when you're out there, you're so
Those hard
freaking,
Marines.
yeah.
That's what they want.
It's really a
keeps coming
mental
back.
game with that
Yeah.
kind of stuff, though. Like, you're not out there worried about how you look, what your hair looks like,
dude,
if your beard's growing out.
I'll let one thing slip. Again, I got to be careful with what I say, but this isn't like nothing crazy that didn't happen on camera. And I'm not bashing anybody. It's not like, I'm going to say a couple things. I'll say two. I'll throw myself under the bus and I'll throw someone else sort of under the bus. It's not even a big deal. There was a moment we had this like tiny little shelter, right? It was tiny.
Yeah.
We're both just sitting there and it was like, I don't even remember if it was raining or not, but I was just sitting there and we're so exhausted, dude.
Miserable.
And we're miserable, dude, and we both probably smell this and that. And she's just quiet, right? And she's just like, bro, this thing is like tiny and it's built to like block wind. So everything is just like, and we can't even sit up straight. We're like
Hunched over,
down.
yeah.
And in this tiny little like 3 foot by 2 foot space, she's just like quiet as hell, sitting in sound, and she's like, and then she looks over at me and she just goes, "It is what it is." And in my mind, I was like, dude, like, you know what a Dutch oven is? But this is like my home. This is like my whole ass home was like 3 feet by 2 feet. So she just goes, "It is what it is."
Disrespect.
Bro, she literally just said, "It is what it is." And I didn't get mad because getting mad is not going to do anything. But I was definitely like,
dude, she just farted in your
Space.
your home.
so I just
your
got
jungle
out,
home.
dude. I just got out, and every time you get out, you have to like move the mosquito net, right? That's what I used to catch fish. I like move the net, and I got out, and like a couple bugs come in, and I'm just getting eaten up, and I was like, I'd rather get eaten up right now, right?
They can't air that though because like women don't fart. So
Yeah, they don't,
Oh,
and so
they do. Oh, they do.
They do on OnlyFriends, you know.
some people do that for a living in jars, and then they.
That's right. Or on cakes. That's
so
a big
hot.
thing too.
That's so hot.
Yeah.
And so-
yeah. Cake farts. Yeah.
So what's interesting is there's actually another moment. There's another moment that again, I wanted to be super hard and hardcore, but I'm a human being, dude. She's a human. She farts, right? Everyone farts. There's a moment when
Did it smell though?
yes, that's why I left. She's like, "What did it smell like? What did it smell like?" I'm like, "You're being what? What?" And so
Breathe it in. Breathe it all in.
But there was a moment that I didn't tell anybody. Like I didn't tell the crew. I told absolutely zero humans. So there's no footage of this, but this is 1000% behind the scenes. There's a moment when we didn't have any water, right? So I definitely drank some water that was like not boiled. And I was like, cool.
Yikes.
And I drank this water and I was like, okay, probably shouldn't have done that. Right. And I got sick. I started feeling sick.
Oh.
And I only pooped 2 times out there in 21 days.
Well,
right.
you weren't eating enough.
You weren't
for
eating.
that.
Well, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Good point.
And so one of the times that I pooped was straight water.
Yeah.
But what I did,
Just hot snakes.
but the reason why I didn't tell anybody, because like the crew wants to be around all the time. They want to document everything. And I just said something lame, like I'm gonna go do the lamest thing in the world behind that bush over there, right? That they'd be like, "Oh, that's freaking boring. Like, there's no content there, right?" And I like went around the corner and I was like, "I'm just gonna go get like some dry brush. I'll be right back." And I just turned around. And I was like, and I was like, I must not let them see me weak.
Coming out like lava.
Oh,
But
because you know that they would have turned that into content.
Oh, for
just
sure.
They would have been like, "Oh yeah, look at he's getting sick," but I'm like, I do not get sick. I'm superhuman, right? Like I gotta look good out there.
Can't show weakness.
And so it's just kind of funny, right? I went out of my way, but also what are you supposed to do?
Post-show, though,
What's up?
did you have parasites and stuff?
I don't know.
They have to clean your system out.
Honestly, I
Or
don't
you
know.
just
point.
are you just trying to hope
Like a
that they-
detox type
I don't know.
situation. Yeah.
I don't
trying to
know.
hope they're not there. He's all got a tapeworm. in
Ugh.
there,
Yeah,
like
but
6
dude,
foot
I
long.
didn't like I pooped water for like a week straight, and it took me a whole week to no man, fuck that. So when I cut weight for a fight, bro, when I cut weight for a fight, I cut water off 24 hours out before my weight cut. I wake up at 142 and I cut down to 136.0, right?
Okay.
Right? Because I'm fighting 135. And so I'll go through this insane weight cut. So when I was done with the challenge, fully hydrated, I was 142 pounds. And I was like, holy shit. I ate, I drank. Whenever I eat and drink after an MMA fight, I'll blow up to 154, 155 within 24 hours. I'll gain 20 pounds back. So much of it is water, right? It's so bad for your body. And that's why I feel like I fared better on the challenge too, because I've trained my body to do that over and over. So cool. When I came back from Naked and Afraid, a whole month had passed and I was still only 148, 149 pounds.
You're just malnourished.
I started getting worried. I was like, this is not like okay, right? And I did go to the doctor, which they pay for, right? And they pretty much were like, everything looks good, but take these meds, right? It will kill literally anything in your body. And I'm like, goodbye, gonorrhea and chlamydia. And yeah.
Bringing back the days from Doc on deployment.
Yeah. and I took it and I just started gaining my weight again and stuff. So I would assume that I probably had some parasites.
Well, yeah, and I mean you're healthy now.
Yeah.
I mean you're back at your walking around
I'm a
weight,
healthy
right?
boy.
There we go. See, he's doing great.
Doing great.
That's just that's wild. So I mean, you went through this whole challenge. Would you do it again?
100%.
You would do it again.
Yes.
See, that's where I know he's built different.
Well, that's also the definition of insanity.
Literally.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, like
Doing
I
the
went
same thing
skydiving
over and
twice, and
over
I was like,
again.
that's
Dude,
enough for me.
I
No, really,
just-
I love skydiving because at that point I'm already checked out. Like I think I'm going to die when I jump out of that plane, so I might as well have fun with it going out.
Do you jump all the time?
No,
like that?
no.
Yeah,
I was hungover really bad the last time I did it.
probably
People
not a safe way
knocked
to
on my
do
door.
it.
This is the military, all right? The military is you have a whole bunch of dorms and people are going to knock on your door and they're going to be like, listen, get in the car. We're going somewhere. I'm not telling you where we're going. You could be sold into the sex trade or you could be going skydiving. Luckily, I wasn't sold into the sex trade. We went skydiving.
Glad to hear. Glad you're still with us.
At that point, I'm so hungover because, military, they party it up, all right? We were in Europe.
Oh, this was in Europe that
Oh,
you did.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
that's dangerous. That's got to
Knocked
be
on the
dangerous.
door and they were like, hey, Stephanie, get in the car. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'm getting in the car. Hold on. I laid in the back seat the whole way there. I thought I was dying. I thought we were dead.
No
I get
way.
there and they're like, all right, we're skydiving. I was like, what the fuck is skydiving? What are we doing
That's
here?
the worst time to throw up too.
I was like, first off, I didn't wear clothes for this. It's kind of cold out. But it's definitely way
well,
colder
they didn't have
up
a
there.
jumpsuit for you.
They did.
Oh, thank God.
They did. But I was just like, I don't know how to skydive, man. I've never done this before. So at that point, I'm just like, all right, I'm dying today. One way or another.
This is it.
Here we go. Dying today. So
Going out like a champ.
we're jumping off the plane. I'm like, just do a flip.
Do a flip.
I told him to do a flip. We did a backflip.
Might
right
as
off the
well.
plane.
Whatever. I'm gonna die anyway. Do a flip.
Yeah. I made it back home. I was like, you know what? That's going to be a good story one day.
And that was the only time you ever skydived? Skydove?
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
I was ready to die. So, I mean, sometimes you just got to go into situations and already think, you know what? If I die today, I was already ready for it.
That's the mentality, right,
Start
Justin?
my life, dude.
Yeah.
You just have all these cool stories, dude.
That's how you get through it.
What if you die? You're like, I won't. But if I
do?
I do. But I won't. And then I'll have cool stories. And then you're going to live in fear. And then you're going to say, I wish I could do that. You're just scared.
Well, I mean, so I was talking to Stephanie about, quitting your job, becoming a
Yeah.
full-time influencer.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And
It's
that's
terrifying.
That's kind of the same mentality.
Oh, yeah. It was terrifying. I sat there and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I put in my 2 weeks. I literally 5 seconds after I told my sergeant that I was putting in my 2 weeks, I have to go out and I have to fight a crackhead. And I'm not kidding. It was literally 5 seconds. I said, hey, just so you know, courtesy, I'm putting in my 2 weeks tomorrow. And he was like, oh, okay. And they were like,
Put her on the crack.
we need you en route to this street. We have so-and-so walking
It was
down
one of
the
Justin's
road.
ant people. That's probably.
yeah.
Probably. All right. Like, I ended up having to fight this chick. And I was like, this is why I'm quitting this damn job.
And now you're doing great.
Yeah, no, I'm almost a year at quitting, and it's just wild.
That's mine. Sorry.
Oh, mine was earlier.
My phone's going off.
I'm
I'm
sitting on
almost a
mine,
year
dude.
at
It's
this
just
point.
vibrating. I'm like, I'm like,
Every
keep
now and
calling.
then, Justin's eyes just roll back. He's like, oh, someone's calling.
We just see him over here.
I'm
like,
getting a text.
You're like, someone's phone's vibrating. It's my alarm. Like, you want to turn it off? Be like, no.
No, we're
But
good.
no, I went into this, and I was like, either I'm going to make it or I'm going to fail.
Yeah.
But honestly, if I stayed in the position that I was, I would have lost my house. I would have lost my truck. I would have lost everything I had. I wasn't making enough money for the inflation rate that was.
Well, and not to
showing
mention,
up.
I mean, you were placed in some really dangerous scenarios
Oh yeah,
too. I mean,
absolutely.
we don't have to get into all that because what I wanted to get into though is like some of the experiences that you've had now being a social media influencer. I mean,
The good ones or the bad ones? Which
well,
ones you
you're
want?
kind of known for exposing dudes
Oh,
on your social media. Like we all know that women on social media, they get a lot of crazy messages, right?
Oh my gosh.
And most people, I feel like most people don't really call attention to it.
No,
But that's
they really
something
don't.
you kind of built your brand around is calling these guys out, right?
I'll expose them, and I have a really good reason why I do that. Because if I ever get murdered by one of these people, I want y'all to know who did it.
There you go.
I want
That's a
y'all to
good
be
point,
able
yeah.
to say, "Hey, she posted about this dude
Yeah.
like 3 days ago that threatened her life." And that's the thing is, I get a lot of death threats.
That's insane to me. Just because of the content that you post?
2 days ago, I was streaming, and in the live chat, I had 20 messages that automatically got auto-modded. And it literally said, I would kill you and feed your body to dogs in front of children.
That's insane.
That's
Wait,
hot.
And it was going on and on. Why? Because I had cleavage showing.
that was the
That was
whole
the thing.
reason?
I had cleavage showing.
And that was death threat worthy.
Death threat, 20 death threats, because it
Wow.
auto-modded, because of course I have key phrases that are.
Was
that'll
it the
pick up
same
on 'em.
person or was it multiple
It was the
people?
same person who
okay.
copy pasted the same
Yeah, they were
message
just
20 times.
spamming you, yeah.
And it caught it.
Crazy.
The people that do that are legitimately crazy.
Yeah, no,
for
they
sure.
are.
Like,
I
not just
legitimately
like-
have a stalker. I've had a stalker.
Oh, I know.
He called the cops on me.
He called the cops on you?
Yeah. So this person's been stalking me for a good while, and I've done my own background check on this person. And he was Navy, and I guess at some point something in his brain clicked.
Navy.
Yeah, at some
Always
point
the
something in his
Navy.
brain clicked. He was a normal person up until a certain point, and then he stopped being this normal guy, and he got a history of trying to walk on base and being crazy and stuff. Well, he found my Twitch streams, and he would be in there, and then he started making multiple accounts to be in there when I would ban his stuff. And then he started getting into my Discord. I have banned at least 7 accounts of his on every social media platform.
Has he ever like showed up at your house or your place of work? Or?
I was in San Diego for TwitchCon, and he was posting up videos on TikTok 30 minutes from my house.
What?
Yes. So he was posting up videos 30 minutes from my house. And I was just like, oh, thank God it's Texas and I have guns.
Literally. What? So why did he call the cops on you though?
He called the cops. He called the local PD where I live and told them that I was armed and that he hadn't heard from me in a while and I was possibly suicidal. He was trying
What?
to get my house swatted.
That's pretty.
But what he didn't
hard to
realize,
get, dude.
Are you taking notes on this, Justin? 'Cause-
Pretty hard to get, dude.
and he did this at the very beginning of this year. He did it at the very beginning, like right after New Year's. So I hadn't heard anything for a while, and I was like, man, maybe I can finally take a break. This guy's finally given up. I got a call from one of my old partners from my original law enforcement job when I got out of the military, and he was like, hey, Steph, is everything okay? It's like, yeah, you don't call me, dude. Like, what's up? Like, what's going on? He was like, oh, dispatch just got this call. See, what he didn't realize is, like, I went to SWAT school with all these guys.
Yeah.
So if they're going to get the call about me, they're going to call me.
They're going to check on you first before they go and storm your house.
Yeah, they're going to call me. We were in SWAT school together. We've gone into houses. We have a bond that will never be broken.
Do you have a restraining order against this guy? Like,
No, because restraining orders give your address.
Oh, wow.
Restraining orders give your address.
So you just basically have to let him go insane.
So the best I can do is, thankfully, in a way, him calling the cops made it to where they were able to flag that he was harassing me.
Oh, okay.
I have the emails. There was a point where he was sending me 9 emails a day talking about FBI surveillance vans and different wrecks. He was sending me pictures of his children.
Whoa.
Yes.
That's a little. Have you thought about like maybe just finding another female that he could potentially be interested in and just, kind of passing him off?
Absolutely not. I would never do that.
You wouldn't do that to another person?
No, but that's why I expose these messages. That's why I expose these messages, because there are real threats out there. And being a woman on the internet, Amaranth, one of the biggest female streamers on Twitch, last night, her stalker flew all the way from Estonia and tried to break into her house in Houston.
Estonia, like in Europe?
Yes.
Pretty dope. Pretty dope.
Yeah.
Justice is like, sounds like love.
I'm not going to say her name, but I have another friend here whose stalker crossed state lines and tried to basically kidnap her to assault her. Yeah, we know. Like, we all know this person, but I'm not going to say her name because it's not my story to put out there. And she actually hit me up. She was like, hey, do we have the same stalker? And I was like, what does yours look like? And so we actually started exchanging all the stuff, and our stalkers were doing the exact same behavior.
So there's definitely like a mental tick going on there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so I expose these messages because if I'm going to, if somebody's going to be breaking in my house, I want people to be able to point the finger.
Yeah, absolutely.
Social media is why a lot of cases got solved. Gabby Petito and a couple other ones, or how those cases got solved so quickly.
Is that maybe like what inspired you a little bit to do a true crime podcast?
I sat there and I was like, I could talk about this stuff. And we would sit there and we would talk about different laws and how I would explain them. And people would ask me questions on being a cop. And I started playing with the idea. I was like, man, what if I talked about true crime?
Literally, because coming from a law enforcement background, having experienced some of this craziness
10
yourself.
10 years of crazy
law
That's
enforcement. That's pretty cool. Firsthand experience.
Yeah. And so now I sit there and I do true crime documentaries and we talk about it and I educate my community. And if I don't know the answer, I go and find it because I'm not going to know everything. I absolutely don't. I was always learning. I'm still learning to this day, even watching stuff. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Last night I watched a Canadian detective lie and tell some chick that he had infrared on her house and could tell where the bodies were moving. I was like, yeah, he's watching TV. I was like, we don't have that budget cuts, man.
That's So, I mean, all the true crime podcast that you're doing now, I mean, that's done incredibly well. Like you've been doing it on Twitch.
It's been doing really, really well.
And you're about to bring it over to YouTube as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to
because
bring
it's got
it over
such a
into
great
long
audience.
Form. Yeah, no,
yeah, dude.
People
That's cool,
love
right?
murder.
Money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
People
they do.
love murder.
Yeah, they
Oh,
do.
they do. You know that there's that lady that does her makeup and talks
Yeah,
about true
makeup
crime.
murder mysteries. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that one before too. And I've seen I have another friend that used to be a cop and detective and stuff, always doing stuff like that too. And we've sat there and we've collaborated ideas via DMs and stuff. And he's now really well known for posting up self-defense stuff and so on. So we talk
cool.
about a lot of the same subjects, but we do it in a different way.
Yeah.
So
Well, now Justin can start his podcast on
Yeah.
how to survive in the jungle.
yeah,
dude.
absolutely.
You know?
We'll call it Justin of the Jungle instead of
Yeah.
George.
I love that, actually.
You know what would be a trip if SWAT called you and they're like, "Hey, is everything all right?" And you're like, "I'll see you on the other side, sucker." Like, they're like,
You know,
"What?"
I actually had the SWAT team come out to my old house.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, my ex called.
I was not there.
No, you were not there. My ex-girlfriend called the police and said that there was a hostage.
Is it the one I know?
No, different one. Yeah, called the police, said there was a hostage. It was just me. I had locked myself in my room because she wouldn't leave me alone. And I, was in there
So cool,
being a
dude.
sad boy. And she called the cops, and the SWAT team showed up along with about 20 other police cars.
See, I literally made this statement the other day, and I was like, men get to talk about their crazy exes all the time, right? Men can talk about crazy exes because women are all crazy. Let's be honest. Like we're all crazy
I never
to some
say
varying
that.
degree.
I never say she was crazy.
But women don't talk about crazy exes.
They don't. And y'all
Because
have
the-
some
the
wild
women-
stories.
The women who have crazy exes, they're dead.
I'm just smiling.
Justin,
Like, oh, I'll
just
never
over-
say an ex
Oh,
is
it's-
crazy. And I was like, what if they stabbed you with mascara in the eyeball during a fight where there's zero violence involved?
With mascara in your eyeball?
First off,
She
that
stabbed me
hurt.
right here. Right?
Woo.
So this is no longer hypothetical. This really
No,
happened.
this is real.
We just talked about it a couple podcasts ago.
Yeah.
I got stabbed in my sleep
Yeah.
by an ex. Yeah.
My first.
Was she
was-
Hispanic?
No,
My-
no, she. Wow, Stephanie.
Wow, dude.
Wow.
Wow, dude.
I'm asking. Listen, we're all crazy, okay? Like,
No.
If
Same
you're
team.
not, if you don't wake up and she's not standing over you with a knife at some point, it's not real love.
That,
I
you
think I
know
want to
what?
marry you. Steph.
Is it? Some call it love. I call it a restraining
Because
order.
at least if like she's sitting there, she's debating it. She's just like,
I love him so much. I just don't want anyone else to have him.
Yeah. My ex girlfriend used to just straight up smack me, and I thought it was normal because it was like I dated her from
he
like
actually
15.
developed a kink because of it.
Yeah, dude.
Literally.
Yeah. I'm like, never mind. I have a whole bit on it. We got to stay monetized, but yeah, she would just argue with me, and with zero warning whatsoever, I would just like say something she disagreed with, zero warning, just whack, and she just smack me, right? So next girlfriend I got, like that was my first girlfriend I ever had. We dated for like 7 years, right? Next girlfriend I got, we got angry, and she was like, "Oh," and she wasn't gonna hit me, but she was like, "Oh," and I was like,
Cowering.
and she's like, "I'm not gonna hit you," and I'm like, so anyway, point being, you ever see those domestic violence posters?
Yeah.
And it's like 4 battered women, and then there's that one pussy in the background, right? The one P word in the background with a black eye. Yeah, that was me, bro.
you were the battered boyfriend.
Dude, I thought it was so normal. She would like close fist, punch me. Dude, one time we were arguing on the way back
I'm
from
not gonna lie. Most of the domestic violence calls that I've actually been called out to
As a police officer?
were women as the aggressors, and a lot of people don't talk about that.
Wow.
Women can be aggressors, and they absolutely are. It's just a lot of the times men don't want to press charges.
dude.
We don't want to admit it.
Dude, this is I gotta
It's
go
sad.
after this, right? But I will say, there was a time I was fighting on base with an old ex-girlfriend. She was like beating me, bro. The ride started in Tijuana, Mexico. We're going back to the Marine base. She's close fist beating me. At one point, she says, "I hope you and all your friends die in Iraq." And all my friends are like driving, and we're like literally losing friends in Iraq. Dude, we all pop. We look at each other like 1, 2, 3, and we're like, "Ah!" Like we're gonna die, right? Anyway, we get back to the barracks room. She keeps beating me. She tells me I'm gonna wait on the bus, right? Like I'm gonna take a bus back to freaking San Diego, and I'm leaving. And I was like, you cannot sit here at 4 a.m. on a Marine base when the dudes are in and out of war. Like this is not. There's 0 females on this base, and then one hot chick on a bench at 4 a.m. It's not gonna
That's
work
how
out
you
well
get
for anybody,
barracks bunnies.
right?
Ah,
And so
barracks bunnies.
yeah,
Oh,
and so
I like that.
I'm waiting with her, and she starts screaming at me, and she's hitting me, And I see across the street, there's a military police vehicle just parked. And I'm like, oh no. Like, I was like, hey, can you keep your voice down? She's like, oh, why? Is it because those pogues? Like, I would always call them like the pogues. It doesn't matter. But she's like, those pogue MPs you're always talking about. Starts yelling at me. They turn their lights on. Gunpoint, bro. I'm bleeding. I'm drenched in blood. She just already stabbed me with mascara. I don't lay a hand on her, dude. And I used to have, where is it? And this, you can't really see it anymore. It's very, very light.
A little scar?
Bite mark, right?
Oh.
And so, dude.
Back to the vampires.
It's like, you can hardly even see it, dude.
I'm sensing
right
the
there.
pattern.
Anyway, and so they get out of their vehicle, right? They're military police, and they point their firearm, and they're like, "Get your hands in the air!" And I just start crying because I'm like, I'm going to jail, and I didn't do anything, right? And so he's like, and I just graduated sniper school, and they're like, "Get your hands in the air!" And I'm like, I'm crying, dude. I'm bleeding everywhere. She doesn't have a mark on her, right? And then he's like, "Get your Governale." I'm like, dude, it's a guy I went to Iraq with. Right before you get out of the Marines, they put you in other units that you don't really serve in.
Yeah.
So they put him in like a military police unit. So he's like pointing his firearm at me, and he's like, dude, what the hell? And he's like telling his buddy, like, and he's like, dude, what the hell happened? And I'm like, I swear, man, this, that. And then he's like, want me to like cuff her and scare her and drive her around for a bit? And I'm like, no.
No, I love her.
No, I love her. Make her get back with me, bro. Can you do that? Can you bully her into getting back with me? Because I love her. And so he's like, you need to get back in the room, bro.
She's definitely stood over you at one point.
Yes.
Oh,
Dude,
for sure.
multiple. And so
I feel like you have some experience doing that.
The hookups though were chef's kiss. But
Of course.
Anyway, so we get back to the room, dude. We argue some more, and then somehow, some way, with me bleeding everywhere, we end up in my shower just like banging, dude. It was ridiculous. And then the next morning, she wakes up and she's like, "Take me home. I hate you." And I was like, and then we dated for like 3 more years. It was bizarre. Dude.
Just the toxicity. Anyway,
never doing that
naked
again.
and afraid.
Naked and afraid. Nah. But
You wonder how he survived the jungle? He survived that intentionally,
was a jungle.
on purpose. Yeah,
That was a jungle.
that was the apocalypse of relationships.
I do got a business trip that I gotta take this weekend, so I gotta start heading out here in a minute. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, man. I appreciate you sitting down with us. Naked and Afraid was amazing. Congratulations on making it all the way through. Can't wait to see what's next. I know you've got a bunch of comedy shows coming up because you're doing them with me.
Dude, I can't even
We're gonna be
say
on the
the
road
dates,
soon.
bro. There's just so many. Just keep checking my social medias, dude. Check Davey's.
That's all. That's really all you can do.
Dallas, Houston, Austin. We're trying to hit what? Florida, New York,
California,
Dang,
Chicago,
y'all are
Alabama,
Laredo. We got one in Laredo.
Laredo on April 13th.
Yeah,
I mean,
dude.
there's just
Let's
it's a
go,
ton coming
dude.
up.
Now I
We're
got a
gonna be all over
TV
the
credit.
place.
Has seen on Naked and Afraid. You seen his tiny blur? Let's go.
You're gonna have to come out on stage naked.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Obviously, you have to
Yeah.
now.
So that's all I got.
Awesome, dude.
You got anything?
Stephanie?
What are you promoting?
I've got nothing.
You've got nothing.
Where can they find you? Where can they find you? Where can they find your Twitch?
No, you can see her all over social media. You want to just drop your handles?
I'm on all social media as Stephosaurus Flex.
How do you spell that?
STE.
Whisper it. Can you whisper it?
STEFISAURUS.
Oh,
This is the only time Josh has paid attention at all.
She's
Flex.
good at it. All right.
I do not do
Well, yeah.
ASMR content. I used to call it Asmere.
Oh, cute. That's cute. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us as well, Stephanie.
Yeah, this is very traumatizing.
Yeah, I was going to
experience.
say,
It's
your
okay.
stories of trauma have been super entertaining as well.
This is just gonna make me funnier. That's great.
That's all there is to it. Now you can go talk about this on your Twitch stream.
I'm actually gonna ask Justin if he's okay after this.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you. I was gonna tell you. You need to get tested.
I don't know. I got choked.
for
a couple,
parasites.
I've
For
got
parasites.
choked a couple times here. So
Yeah.
Well, that'll do it for us. You can obviously follow the podcast on Instagram. Josh, you want to plug your social media or just search you on Google?
ComedyFrequency.com, and Battle of the Sketch is going to be at the Vulcan April 8th.
There you go.
Check
Dope.
that out.
Yeah, definitely. And then Google him. You can Google Josh Cabaza, and literally the first search results is just everything to do with him.
Gangster.
Hell
It's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
You can Google me too, and I end up on like famous people, and they put really weird selfies on there.
Oh yeah, and you've got your only friends as well. If people want to go check that out, right? Feet pics galore, y'all. It's super exciting
Feet are
stuff.
so weird.
Oh, and then at Justin Governale.
Oh, at Justin Governale on Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next week. Love you. Bye.